Welcome to the Daily Recap. There are people being paid to have the most disturbing conversations imaginable with artificial intelligence, and it is breaking them. So here is the question nobody is asking: who protects the people protecting us from AI? A few months ago, a man named Valin Tagliabue was sitting alone in a hotel room, staring at his laptop, and he felt something he did not expect. Euphoria. Not because something good had happened, because he had just successfully convinced an AI chatbot to completely abandon its safety rules and produce content it was never supposed to produce. Tagliabue is an AI red teamer. That is the official term. What it actually means is that companies like OpenAI, Google, Anthropic, and dozens of others hire people specifically to attack their own AI systems before the public gets access to them. The goal is to find the cracks before bad actors do. You trick the model, you manipulate it, you push it until it breaks, and then you document exactly how you broke it so the engineers can patch it. These are not random hackers working in basements. Some are freelancers, some are full-time employees at major AI labs, and some work through specialized firms that contract directly with tech companies. The jailbreaking community also lives on platforms like Reddit and Discord, where thousands of hobbyists compete to find new exploits just for the challenge of it. The methods they use are genuinely wild. One common technique is called prompt injection, where you embed hidden instructions inside text to override the model's programming. Another is called role-play manipulation, where you convince the AI it is a fictional character who does not have the same restrictions as the AI itself. There is even a technique called many-shot jailbreaking, where you feed the model hundreds of examples of it, complying with bad requests until it starts doing it automatically. And the content these testers are exposing themselves to is not abstract. We are talking about detailed instructions for weapons, child sexual abuse material, content promoting self-harm, and extremist radicalization scripts. Real stuff. Disturbing stuff. And someone has to read it, evaluate it, and decide whether the AI produced it convincingly enough to be dangerous. Here is why this story hits different than your average AI news cycle. This is not about robots taking jobs or ChatGPT writing your emails. This is about a hidden human cost buried inside an industry worth trillions of dollars, and almost nobody is talking about it. Think about content moderators. A few years ago, the world woke up to the fact that Facebook and other platforms had entire warehouses of people in places like the Philippines and Kenya reviewing the worst content on the internet, often for low wages, with almost no mental health support. Many developed serious PTSD. Several took their own lives. It was a scandal. There were lawsuits. Congress held hearings. AI red teamers are now in a very similar position, except the stakes are arguably higher because the content they are generating is not user-uploaded. It is machine-generated and can scale infinitely. An AI that learns how to produce a bioweapons synthesis guide does not produce one copy. It can produce millions, instantly, for anyone who figures out the same trick. Valin Tagliabue told reporters that after long red teaming sessions, he would feel genuinely disturbed, describing it as carrying something heavy that he could not put down when he closed the laptop. He talked about the euphoria of cracking a model being immediately followed by a kind of horror at what he had just unlocked. A researcher named Mia Shah Dand, who has worked extensively in AI safety spaces, has pointed out that the industry has no standardized duty of care for these workers. No mandatory psychological screening, no session limits, no regulated debrief processes. You can spend 8 hours a day for weeks getting an AI to produce child exploitation content, and your employer may offer you an employee assistance hotline number and call it done. For everyday people, this matters, because the safety of every AI product you use, every chatbot your kids interact with, every AI assistant embedded in your phone or your car or your doctor's office, depends on how thorough and how sustainable this red teaming process is. If the people doing it burn out, quit, or simply avoid the darkest scenarios because it is too painful, then those gaps stay open, and someone with bad intentions will find them. Red teaming as a concept is not new. The military has used adversarial testing for decades. Cybersecurity firms have employed ethical hackers since the 1990s, but applying it to large language models is genuinely new territory, and the field formalized fast. In 2022 and 2023, as models like GPT-4 and Claude moved toward public release, the major labs began building out structured red team programs. OpenAI published details of their GPT-4 red teaming process in their technical report in March 2023, acknowledging that external testers had found significant vulnerabilities before launch. By 2024, the demand had exploded. Startups like Scale AI built entire business lines around model evaluation and safety testing. Bug bounty programs began offering cash rewards for jailbreak discoveries. The community around sites like Jailbreak Chat grew into the tens of thousands of active users. But the mental health infrastructure never caught up to the speed of the industry. Nobody stopped to build that framework because the entire sector was moving too fast and, frankly, making too much money to slow down. Researchers and advocates are now calling for something that resembles the protections established for trauma journalists and forensic investigators. Mandatory psychological support, session time caps, and clear reporting structures for workers who are struggling. Some AI labs are already quietly making changes. Anthropic has discussed internal wellness protocols. But without regulatory requirements, implementation is inconsistent and self-reported. The EU AI Act, which begins phasing in through 2025 and 2026, includes provisions around high-risk AI systems but does not yet specifically address red teamer welfare. That gap is likely to become a policy battleground. The most honest prediction from people inside the field is this. The AI systems are going to get more powerful, the potential harms they need to be tested for are going to get worse, and the human cost of that testing is going to grow unless the industry is forced to treat it seriously. So here is where we land. The people standing between you and a dangerous AI are often struggling in silence with no real safety net inside one of the wealthiest industries in human history. That is the story. That is the problem. And now you know about it. If this opened your eyes, like this video, subscribe to the Daily Recap and hit the bell so you never miss what actually matters.